Tonight, before you go to sleep, try something unusual. Turn off every light around you, put your phone away, switch off the television, let the room become completely dark. Within a few moments, you may notice something strange. The darkness feels unfamiliar, almost uncomfortable. That feeling exists because true darkness has nearly disappeared from our lives. For thousands of generations, our ancestors experienced something we rarely do today. When the sun disappeared below the horizon, there were no glowing cities, no streetlights, no electric bulbs, and no bright screens. The world became silent and almost completely black. They couldn't simply press a switch to bring back the light. Night was a force they had to live with, respect, and survive. Imagine standing alone in an ancient forest after sunset. The trees fade into shadows. Every sound feels louder. Every movement could be a predator waiting in the darkness. Your eyes struggle to see even a few feet ahead. For early humans, this wasn't a nightmare. It was everyday life. But then humanity made one of the greatest discoveries in history. Fire. At first, fire was more than warmth. It was protection. It kept dangerous animals at a distance and created a small circle where people could finally feel safe. Outside that glowing circle, darkness belonged to nature. Inside it, something remarkable began to happen. People stayed awake longer than ever before. They gathered around the flames, sharing food, experiences, and ideas. During the day, life was focused on survival. Every hour was spent searching for food, collecting water, making tools, or avoiding danger. Conversations were practical because survival came first. Night changed everything. Once the day's work ended, the campfire became the center of human life. Families sat together beneath the stars. Hunters described their adventures. Elders passed down wisdom. Children listened with curiosity as stories filled the night air. These weren't just entertaining tales. They taught lessons about courage, trust, danger, and survival. Long before books, schools, or written language existed, knowledge traveled from one generation to another through storytelling. Some scientists believe these evenings around the fire helped develop imagination, cooperation, and even language itself. For the first time, humans weren't thinking only about tomorrow's hunt. They began asking bigger questions. Where did the stars come from? Why do seasons change? What happens after death? The darkness encouraged curiosity, and curiosity slowly built civilization. But the campfire wasn't the only forgotten part of ancient nights. The way our ancestors slept was completely different from the way most people sleep today. Modern society tells us that healthy sleep should happen in one uninterrupted block. If we wake up during the night, we often assume something is wrong. Yet history suggests that waking in the middle of the night may once have been perfectly normal. For centuries, people naturally slept in two separate periods. They would fall asleep soon after sunset, rest for several hours, wake quietly during the middle of the night, remain awake for a while, and then return to sleep until dawn. That peaceful period between the two sleeps wasn't wasted time. It was often the calmest part of the entire day. Some people reflected on their dreams while they were still fresh. Others prayed, meditated, or simply sat quietly beside the fading fire. Couples talked without distractions. Elders planned for the future. Many people simply enjoyed the silence, something that has become increasingly rare in today's constantly connected world. Centuries later, scientists became curious about this forgotten sleeping pattern. In one famous study, volunteers lived without artificial light for several weeks. As their bodies adjusted to natural daylight, something unexpected happened. Without being instructed, they naturally returned to the same two-part sleeping pattern described in historical records. Their bodies seemed to remember a rhythm that modern life had almost erased. Researchers also discovered that the quiet period between those two sleeps created an unusually peaceful mental state. Participants described feeling deeply relaxed, thoughtful, and emotionally calm. Instead of anxiety or frustration, they experienced a sense of stillness that many people today rarely encounter. So what changed? The answer is surprisingly simple. Artificial light. As candles became cheaper, streets became brighter, and electricity spread across the world, humans gradually pushed bedtime later into the night. Instead of ending the day shortly after sunset, we extended it by several hours. Today, our evenings are filled with televisions, smartphones, computers, and bright LED lights. While these inventions have transformed civilization, they have also changed the natural signals our brains evolved to follow. Our brains rely on darkness to know when it's time to prepare for sleep. When bright light reaches our eyes late at night, the brain receives a confusing message. Instead of believing the day has ended, it thinks the sun is still shining. This delays the release of melatonin, the hormone responsible for helping us fall asleep. Over time, late-night exposure to artificial light can disrupt our natural body clock, making restful sleep more difficult. Scientists have found that even spending a few days surrounded only by natural daylight and darkness can begin restoring a healthier sleep rhythm. It is a reminder that our biology still carries the memory of a world without electricity. Perhaps the greatest thing we lost wasn't simply darkness. It was the quiet space that darkness created. A time without constant notifications, without endless scrolling, without the pressure to always stay busy. Our ancestors ended their days beneath countless stars, surrounded by family, stories, and silence. They looked into the flames, reflected on their lives, and rested according to rhythms shaped by nature itself. Tonight, when you reach for a light switch or unlock your phone before bed, remember that your brain was built in a completely different world. Deep inside you, millions of years of human history are still waiting for the sun to set. If you love uncovering the hidden secrets of history, science, and human evolution, subscribe to the channel and join us on our next journey.